Well, hey there, and welcome to the Mom Biz Cafe, the podcast where we talk about life as a self-employed mom, entrepreneurship, and small business marketing. Sit back, grab a coffee, and listen along with us at the Mom Biz Cafe.
Hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is that you happen to be tuning in, watching, or listening. Thanks for joining us today on the Mom Biz Cafe. And I'm here today with Alysha. And so for those of you who don't know me, before I pass it off to Alysha, my name's Brittany. My company is called Empty Desk Solutions. We do social media content marketing for small businesses and entrepreneurs. And this podcast is a little bit of a passion project for me to just collaborate with other female entrepreneurs, share what they're all about, hopefully, provide people some useful tips they can use in their business. And I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's Mom Biz Cafe when there's like a baby tricycle in the background.
I know. I was just looking and I was like, oh, I'm glad it's not just me because I've got like stuff all over it. I think it's kind of hidden, but water bottle, all that fun stuff.
I see water bottle, that's it. It looks pretty tiny behind you. I'm always like moving stuff off the stairs.
I do this all the time. I'm like, let's just hover this way a little.
Move it. Oh my gosh, so funny. I know lots of people use like the blur background, and I feel like it's weird. So this is what it is. You're in my
real life.
Real life.
So
I'm going to pass it over to you for your intro, and then we'll bring it back with sort of how we met. So over to you.
All right.
How about you?
Good. Hello. So my name is Alysha Spencer, and I am a photographer and virtual assistant. I started off doing photography. I've been doing photography for over 10 years. And a couple of years ago, I was sitting at a photography conference, and we got talking about kind of like passion projects like you just brought up. And, if you couldn't do photography, what else would you do? And it kind of brought me back to my administration roots that I had kind of started many, many years ago before I ever got into photography. Well, not got into photography, but started doing it professionally. And I kind of went back to that, and I started thinking like, oh, it'd be really cool to run like a virtual assistant company that helps other photographers, because I just feel like we're all entrepreneurs in general, especially when you've got kids at home and you're running a business, you're just a hot mess all the time. You've got all these things on your plate that you want to do, and you just don't feel like you have enough hours in a day. So I got that idea, and I sat with it for almost 2 years before having a conversation with you and my business coach, and you guys both just kind of gave me the push to be like, well, what are you waiting for? Just go for it. And I was like, okay. And here we are a few months later, and I'm already almost booked with my clients, and I'm loving it. I just love helping other photographers streamline their systems and get their crap together and make them feel good about their to-do list and feel accomplished.
Yeah, accomplished, productive, all things we talk about when we connect once a week.
Yeah.
Okay, so I always have this like how we met, and I actually don't know how long we've known each other for, because we know each other through your sister-in-law.
Yeah.
I used to work with like back in the day at a tanning salon. So that would have been okay. So I was 15 when I started working there, and I'm 36, and I think I probably knew you back then.
So I worked there for a little bit before you girls worked there. So I worked there.
Oh, that.
Yeah, I worked there. I was just a bed cleaner. So I was a bed cleaner there for a while. I didn't work there for too long. And so I would just tan there all the time. Even after I left there, I tanned there. So although I met you through her, I think I probably like just knew you from the tanning salon because I was there when you were working there anyways. But yeah, that was a long time ago. What, like probably even longer than that.
Like 21 years ago now.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's so crazy.
I'm not that old. That feels gross.
I know.
Sometimes when I'm out, like still, and this is like, I was a teenager when I worked there. I mean, I did go back on and off when I had my oldest daughter, Lacey, who's almost 16. So it's been like a long time since I've been there. But I still get people that see me and they're looking at me, and then they're like, tanning girl. I'm like, I have a name. Like my name's Brittany. It was Brittany then, and it's Brittany now. Like, it's not. tanning girl's so funny, but they still
Oh,
recognize.
that's awesome.
I know.
Oh,
We
that's so
became
funny.
like the therapist and whatever else we were working behind that counter, right? So funny.
Oh, I bet. I
So I
bet.
did-
I remember that.
Oh, that's so funny. I didn't know you worked there. And then I don't know if I've ever done photos with you. However, you would scrapbook, I think, when Linda and I would also do the scrapbooking stuff.
Yep.
So we were
Yep.
kind of like connected through other hobbies and stuff too.
Yep. Yep.
So neat. It's really cool. And we didn't really connect in like the business world until, I don't know, partway through last
Recently.
year.
Yeah, I was gonna say in the last year.
Yeah. So when you're starting everything up and we're kind of like somehow end up in the same business circles again. And yes, we have these little awesome chats sometimes once a week, depending on our crazy lives, and motivating each other. And okay, what are you working on? What am I working on? And it's that's why today's topic I think is really cool to bring to everybody, because we're often talking about like what is working and more often, I guess, what is not working in our businesses and what systems are needed or lacking and all of that kind of stuff. And then we sort of help each other figure out, you know, oh, have you tried this? Or how about this system? Or could you say this to the client? So anyways, that's what we're hopping on for today, is the top 5 systems that you can input/outsource in your business. So I wanted to bring it, before we get into like the 5 systems or things you can outsource or set up, I do want to kind of pull it back to like a virtual assistant in general. So if someone is, whether you're new or experienced in business, if you're hiring a virtual assistant for the first time, look for if there's someone that you can find that has experience in your industry specifically. So like you're saying, Alysha, you can help anyone. However,
of course,
your experience, like you're so experienced in photography, that's what you do. You've set up your system. So you can now help other people, other photographers set up and streamline their system. So for a lot of my clients that are mortgage brokers, for example, we're doing their social. But if we need to help them find someone who's a virtual assistant, we have a few people that we refer to that do virtual assistant services specifically for that industry. So they know what the client needs. They know their systems inside and out. And when you're thinking about outsourcing for the first time, if that's new for you, aside from finding the industry experience that you need, start thinking about what tasks do you do in your business over and over and over again that are easily done by someone else, whether you think they are, they're not. You can we have kind of all been through, oh, no one else can do it but me, and that's not true. So think about the things you do over and over and the things that actually need you versus the things that don't need your face or your voice, really. Is like easiest. So for example, this podcast, well, I can't outsource recording the podcast because me, I have to do the interview. Someone can't pretend to be me unless we have clones someday in the future. I don't know. But for example, like after I write my weekly emails, there's a whole series of steps where it goes to my blog and then it's repurposed as social content and blah, blah, blah. I don't have to do that. I just have to write the first initial email. So that's an example of something that I used to do by myself. Now our virtual assistant handles that. So we've recorded tutorials. I don't know. Do you have anything to add to that? Like when people are taking the first step to hiring?
Yeah, no, I think that's perfect. I think just another little thing to add was, you know, how you said about the things that you don't necessarily specifically need to do. Another thing to think about too is like, what things are you doing that you either steal your joy or things that you absolutely hate? Because if you sit down and write out all the things that you do and you realize like, this is bottlenecking me because it steals my joy. I don't enjoy doing it. It should take me 15 minutes or a half an hour and it's taking me 2 hours because, you know, you're picking up your phone because you're bored and you don't want to do it and you're scrolling on Facebook and you're doing all these things. So stuff like that, outsourcing saves you time and money because you're wasting valuable time stressing over something you don't want to do that can be easily handed off to somebody else who can do not only a great job of it, but sometimes people can do things better than you. You know, we hate to admit that somebody can do something better than us, but once you get it off your plate and see how well someone can do something, you're like, everybody that I work with is like, why didn't I do this sooner?
Yeah, like we do a little bit of email marketing for some of our clients, and it's not rocket science. Like so I'll give you an example of some of our clients that are in real estate. They do like a monthly market update. And they can take the stats that they see and give us like their little blurb. Okay, here's what this means. Sales were up, supplies down, blah, blah, blah. But is it the best use of their time to log into MailChimp and create a banner and put that in and format it, update the list, put in some funny images or videos, something that would take them maybe, and not exaggerating, maybe 2 hours start to finish by the time they write and, you know, make it all good, test it, all that jazz, might take us half an hour at the most, right? So even at the rates that we are charging, is still saving them an incredible amount of time and money because they're not like wasting that time essentially doing it themselves. And I guess actually I'm not sure if we had this in our notes, but I'm going to add it in here anyways, because why not? Before we get into these top 5 kind of things to do or outsource, the rate that you can expect to pay for a virtual assistant is going to vary a lot based on, well, geographical location, where are they in the world, but also that specific experience. So for example, you have an hourly rate that's based on your experience and who you can help, right? And how fast you can do things and all that. They're paying for your experience and your knowledge. And if you were to hire someone, you know, let's say they're overseas to where you are and the hourly rate's a lot less, it might seem like on the surface that that's really awesome. But if it's taking them 5 times as long because they don't know how to do it, or you're having to teach them a lot more stuff, well, it might not make sense anymore. Sometimes it does. Like we have a virtual assistant that does some of our, you know, basic data entry and content repurposing and that sort of thing. And she's amazing. She's in the Philippines. She doesn't, you know, for what dollar per hour would be here, it makes all the sense in the world. But I do have the time to dedicate to training her, and I record videos for her and show her how to do things so that it becomes easy. If it was something really specialized, like some of the stuff we'll talk about in here, I couldn't necessarily give that to her. So I could probably expect to pay, you know, $50 an hour or up in Canadian. I'm not sure if that's something that's come up lots in conversations for you yet, but sometimes people are, they can be like a little bit, I don't know if shell shocked is the word, but sometimes they're like, oh, wait, how much are you an hour? And
right.
We're $95 an hour for content services. That's our specialty. That's what we do day in and day out. And they might think, oh, well, I can get this person over here to do it for $10 an hour. Okay, but like, do they know your industry inside and out? Are they branding your graphics? Like, you're not always comparing apples to apples. So
totally. No, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. Yeah, there's I've definitely had conversations with people, and you know, we get on our free coffee and conversation, the call's going great, and then you get talking about money and they're like, oh, and I was like, well, that's comparable to what's industry standard, right? It's like, I'm not really sure what they were expecting, but at the same point, a lot of the time, they don't realize that when you're hiring somebody at a lower rate or a minimum wage rate, you're almost essentially like, it's more like hiring an employee that you have to bring in, you have to pay, you know, you're paying to train them. So you're paying them while you're teaching them things, versus hiring somebody who already knows what they're doing. And it's just a matter of putting your personal touches on what they're already doing. So I do think that there's like a little bit of like a cross there where people don't necessarily realize what it is, or maybe they just don't quite know what they're looking for or know what to expect. So I've been trying to get my social media is trying to be a place of like educating people on stuff like that, instead of just, you know, because people think, oh, virtual assistant, I hire them to do my admin stuff. Okay, well, sometimes it's more than that, and sure, sometimes it is just admin work, but it's all specific to what you need in your business. There's no one size fits all type of virtual assistant, right? So
that's it. Yes. And that's very true. I see often in some of the groups I'm on in online, people will post, oh, I need a virtual assistant. Tell me your rates. And it's like, a virtual assistant for what? For like, you're asking them to go in to do some bookkeeping. Are they doing graphic design? Are they like, there's so many things that kind of fall under that umbrella, and they need to be. So anyways, I guess where I'm going with this is, if you're looking at hiring a VA, be specific about what you're actually looking for them to do, and then go try and find that person and ask those questions when you're interviewing them, what their experience is in certain areas. And then you can just avoid, you know, the awkward, oh, this VA doesn't have experience in what I need, right?
Right.
Well, it's not just that you can't find amazing people for less money as well. Like,
sure. Oh, of course.
Yeah, we have a couple assistants, and some of them are, you know, low cost per hour, and some of them are really high. It just depends on what we kind of need. So
Totally.
Anyways, so that was a little like off of our 5 areas. I thought it'd be helpful because I do get people ask that. How do I find out for my business? Amazing. So we're talking about these sort of 5 areas to outsource or set up in your own business or get someone to help you set up.
Yep.
So I'll let you talk through the kind of like main points on each one. I'll just kind of do like the intro list. So our first one is a lead/contact form. And what we're talking about here is what to do with leads when they come in, like how you actually get them and how you could streamline that. So I will let you talk about your point you had under that one.
Yeah. So a lead contact form is something that I've been setting it up for a lot of my newer clients because it takes the step out of what do you do when a lead comes in. So if you are, ideally, I try to get people to send people to their website. So when somebody inquires with you, send them to your website, have them fill out a lead contact form on your website that asks what questions you kind of need to know if they're going to be a good fit. Usually it's name, email address, phone number in case you can't get their email. And then sometimes I even put on there like a date, like how soon do you want to work together, or like what's your ideal session date or whatever. What type of work are you looking for? Is it social media? Is it a certain type of session? That way, you're gathering information before you have to reply to them. And then so once you get them to fill out that form on your website, ideally you want to have it go somewhere. So we're going to touch on CRM systems in a couple secs here, but basically I have it set up where they inquire on the website and then automatically creates a lead in my CRM system. Then I'd send out a generic email. So I know there's a lot of like back and forth on like, oh, don't automate your client emails. However, I think it's important to send them something right away. So if you don't think you're going to respond to a lead in 48 hours, automate an email that says, hey, we've received your email. We're really excited to chat with you. Either can you answer these couple questions? Hey, you're already kind of weeding out if they're a good fit or not. Yes. Or if you'd like to see some of my work, click this link. Or if you want to learn a little bit more information or find out more about my package, click this link. So you're giving them something to do. You're asking them some questions if they're not going to answer your questions, well then, hey, maybe that's a red flag that they're not going to be your ideal client anyway. So sending out that automatic email that just gives them a little tidbit of information while they wait for you to respond, and includes maybe, hey, we're going to be back to you in 24 to 48 hours, just kind of sets up what to expect. So that's the first one that I find is it's been a game changer for a lot of my clients because they've been wasting so much time back and forth with potential leads that essentially aren't a good fit anyways. So this just takes that step out, automates it, and it's kind of weeding out the yays and the nays before you even really have to communicate with them.
Yeah. So it's a time saver on like the admin side, but it's also kind of helping set you up for success, a little bit of client boundaries, all that stuff. That makes sense. And just so everyone's clear, we're not talking about like how to get the traffic in the first website. We're talking about like once they're there, like what are you asking them for and how are you streamlining that? So for me, I know that this is an area in my business I'm trying to just kind of tweak a little bit. So my kind of call to action for people to book those is always, it's similar to yours. It's book a free 10-minute coffee chat.
Right.
So I make it easy for them. I know we're going to talk about how to make it easy for them to book further down, but I make that part as easy as possible. But what I was finding was people were just like, my calendar would get filled. I'd have 2 days a week calls. They would fill them up, but I didn't have necessarily a proper agenda for what, how it's going to go and questions I'm asking them first. So maybe half of those calls turn into clients, which is awesome. Like that rate is great. However, there's another 50% where I spent maybe half a day on Zoom with these people that was, and I don't just mean like, I don't mean waste of time because I'm building relationships, but I don't want them to feel like they wasted their time when they, maybe it's that budget thing we were talking about. So if I have something automated that happens even after they book that says, oh, here's about us and our packages, fill out this questionnaire. By the way, our hourly rate is $95 an hour. If that's way out of their budget, that's okay. But we're telling them right away so that they don't hop on the call and then, feel like kind of silly or what have you. So that's a really good thing to set up first is like how you're going to kind of streamline that. And I do like that auto reply, at least to let them know it's just a touch point. So I think
Yep.
sometimes when people say don't automate your client communication, well, of course, we're not going to automate all of it, but we're going to automate little steps that allow
Yeah,
us the space to create the really awesome pieces for them, right?
exactly. Exactly.
So that's really awesome. And so the second one, what have we got? Client email templates. Oh, so this is kind of when you find yourself reusing certain things over and over and over again, what kind of canned responses or email templates can you create? So, over to you for that one.
Yeah. So for me personally, as a photographer, there is there's certain emails that you send to every single client. So before in my earlier years, I dreaded writing emails because I felt like, oh, I'd see a lead come in. And so this is where the lead contact form comes in handy too. But you see an email come in and you're like, oh, I have to sit down and find time to respond. And then it's like, oh, what's my pricing? Oh, what days am I available? What this, all these things. So what I started doing was when I would reply to people, I would just start saving those emails and then like making them down to like generic. And then I would just create it as an email template so that I would, oh yeah, here's my inquiry reply. I would just grab that and then I just personalize it and, oh, thanks so much for your email. I have a dog too, or whatever, just something to make it personalized. And then it's like, yes, I am available for your session. Yes, I do shoot those, or no, I don't. Here's this. Here's a link to my pricing. Here is the next steps to book, or here's a helpful blog post. Just something that's there that it can be reused for different clients over and over and over again. But then it's something that it's not automated in the sake of that it's just automatically being sent out. It's just automatically, it's already created. So it's already done for you. It's already in there. You just have to grab whatever email fits, tweak it, customize it for your client or whatever. And that way it just, again, saves so much time sitting down, staring at a blank page, like, what am I going to reply to this person?
And the same kind of system can apply to multiple areas of your business, not necessarily just emails as well. So for me earlier, my early days, my business isn't I guess we're going into year 9 for this.
Going into year 9,
got it's old now. It's not a baby. However, there were certain things that I felt like I'm recreating the wheel every dang time I do this. And for me, it was proposal templates. So when we hadn't nailed down this is what we do in a box, there was too many templates first. So even if I created one, the next one was way too different. I couldn't reuse it. But over time, we kind of pared it down to this is our proposal template. And the only section that we really edit is at the top where it's hi, insert first name. And then there's a spot for a paragraph. And that's where I would type in something to do with our conversation that we had on Zoom. It was nice chatting today about XYZ. Here's my recommendations, but it's very short. And then the deliverables. So I think we have 4. So hourly, website and branding, social media monthly, and social media custom. I think those are our 4 templates. I should really look. I didn't write those in my notes, but I think those are our 4. So now anytime that someone has a call, if I say, yes, I want to work with you, or I have space, I'm going to be sending you a proposal. I log in. I know you use 17 Hats. I use Basecamp, but they're similar in some ways. I log in. I just find the template I want and I click make a copy. And then I change that one paragraph. So something that was taking me, without exaggerating, 1 to 2 hours before for a proposal takes me 5 minutes or less. And that includes me recording a Loom video, walking them through the proposal, which is part of my system too. So these templates, just anything that you're doing over and over can be a template.
And so with your proposals, that's something I'll just add in real quick. Something that I use in 17 Hats that you mentioned, which is my CRM system, is quotes. So for my photography business, I'll send clients a quote because there's several packages. So once we get to the step of, okay, you guys are ready to book, I will send over a quote. They get to choose their package, and then it automatically generates an invoice that they can pay online, send an e-transfer, do whatever, and then it automatically creates a contract. So that's taking 3 emails or 3 touch points away from me having to communicate with those clients. So I send them one thing and it's just bam, bam, bam generated. So it's all about saving time, because at the end of the day, we want to spend our time with our clients. We don't want to be spending all this time getting the clients through the door And then if they don't work out, you're like, oh, I wasted, quote unquote, all that time, which I know it's not wasted time. Everything you can kind of learn from everything, but our time is money. You know what I mean? We're busy. We're moms. We're running businesses. We got things to do. We want to save our time and energy, right? So
yeah, that's such a good point. Like it's, every business owner can use systems, can use automations, can, hire VAs and streamline. But as moms with businesses, like it's so important for us because our time is, like it or not, it is a lot more limited.
Yeah.
And when I think of things that I do over and over, even now, I'm like, oh, I repeated the same task like 6 times yesterday. I could have been like snuggling the baby. Like I didn't need to do that. So it really makes me think, what else can we do? So that's awesome. And then so your, email template for each touch point, which maybe we'll talk about a little more when we
kind of rolls in, to workflow.
Well, workflows, I guess, is sort of like the overall, it can be like the top level, and these things kind of are pieces within your workflow, but in any case, we'll get there. Then you mentioned, personalize it before you send it out, keep the bones the same, right? So you're having these templates and you're just changing little pieces. It's saving time. Don't fall into the trap. For anyone who's creating templates for the first time, don't fall into the trap of like creating templates just for the sake of creating templates and then having too many. Just start to take notice of things you're doing over and over. Have a little list, maybe a notebook or a piece of paper or Google Doc or whatever. Of you're doing a time study, you're trying to figure out where you're maybe wasting time, and then start from there. Look for the trends, create those templates, and then move on.
Because it can be overwhelming to think I need to create every team email template for every scenario, and then you're just like then it seems hard, where it's like, okay, no, I actually created my own email templates that I sell to photographers because I'm like, I want to take the guesswork out of it. So there's just 10 like beautifully curated emails where it's like inquiry, I'm booked, that like client onboarding, all the way down to like gallery delivery, because really there's only so many emails that you actually need. And then there's going to be situations that pop up where it's like, okay, well, that might be a special situation that doesn't actually need a canned email template. It's something you're going to have to go on the fly. So you don't necessarily need an email template for that.
Yeah. Awesome. So our next one is CRM system, and which is obviously like could be like a series of podcasts on its own talking about CRM. But we have a few kind of specific points that we want to highlight in this. So before I pass it over, I had a note for everybody to just remind, not every business needs CRM, or sorry, my phone's ringing. Somebody will figure out how to like disconnect that from my computer.
I know.
Don't know how. So if anyone knows how, let me know.
I think I know how to do it. I could help you.
Okay, we'll do that after. I'm like, why when I'm recording? Where was I going with it? Yes, not all businesses need CRM, as in an expensive, fancy system. So you don't need the $30,000 customization of Salesforce for your CRM. Like maybe your CRM is like literally like a Word doc that has all of the important details, I guess, on each client that you're going to need. So I had put in brackets, think birthdays. So somewhere where you have like, for me, my CRM's like, it's the client list. I actually use my email system for it, but it's the list where everyone's data exists, and I can extract whatever pieces I need, segment, etc. So yes, doesn't have to be super fancy. Over to you to talk about CRM systems.
Yeah, so just to go off of that whole, it doesn't have to be fancy or expensive. You have to really look at your business and what you need. And I'm a big fan of 17 hats because it works really well for my business. But when photographers come to me and ask me what CRM system they use, I tell them the main 3 that people use. I'm like, okay, 17 hats, Dubsado, and Honeybook are the ones that people love. Go download a free trial, play around with it, see which one you like, because what works for me might not necessarily work perfectly for you. And hey, maybe it's as simple as having a streamlined Trello board or Asana board or an Excel spreadsheet where you just literally have, your client's name, their work, their due date, their whatever. Like it can be so simplified. It doesn't have to be anything too crazy and fancy. Ideally, you just need to have all your clients in one place. And if you're working on a project-based system, that's where I feel like the fancier CRM systems come in place. But I feel like you could get away with that as well with like a Trello board, having a specific project for whatever type of session or whatever you're working on. But one of my huge benefits to having a CRM system is being able to have, which is our next talk that we're going to talk about, is to be able to have workflows. So I set up workflows that I can attach based on what kind of project it is for each client, which will trigger workflow or will trigger emails if needed. It automates a to-do for me to do, like, okay, I got to send out that session reminder 1 week before. It automatically pops up. So as you get busier or your workload gets bigger or whatever is when I think it's time to branch out to a bigger CRM system that can kind of automate some of those things and keep you organized and keep you on track. But yeah, it definitely can be, you know, what's that saying, that KISS saying, keep it simple, stupid. Like seriously, just keep it simple to start. Like get yourself like a Excel spreadsheet and just have everything in the same place. And you know what, the great thing about an Excel spreadsheet is when you do decide to upgrade to our CRM system, you can use that Excel spreadsheet and just upload it. And then you're not redoing it. It's like, oh, I already did all the work. I just got to add it now. So.
Yeah. I used a Google Sheet for a really long time to track client data and what we were doing. It wasn't until my team grew in size that I'm like, oh, we need another tool for this. And I think it's important to note, so if CRM is like a new term for people, so CRM is customer relationship management. So it's like software or technology for managing your company's relationships and interactions. So it's basically to improve / streamline business relationships. So not to be confused with a project management tool, although sometimes they're one and the same. So
yes, where mine is one and the same. Mine is amalgamated. Mine is one and the same. Yeah. So I manage my clients' projects in my 17 hats. I create the workflow that, like, you know, can automate certain things. I have my client booking links and stuff in there, which I know you use Calendly, which is, you know, down the list. We're going to talk about that. But a lot of these things can be managed within your CRM system. So the great thing about a CRM system is it takes out all the little pieces and all the outside systems that you don't need. So sometimes you can take 3 to 5 different systems you're using and amalgamate it all into one CRM system, and then everything's in one place, which is great. So when you are hiring a virtual assistant or you do have a team member coming in, it's like, okay, everything's here. It's not like, okay, my email templates are over here. You know, I just send those in Google, and, you know, my client management, all my clients are over here in this list. And okay, when they want to book something, my calendar is over here. So it just takes everything and just marries it all together and just makes it all in one nice, neat and tidy little place.
Yes. And if you have questions about, like, do I need a project management software or do I need a CRM, or is mine actually both? You can reach out to either one of us. We can we
can help you.
Sometimes they are different. Like for us, we have Basecamp. That really is our project management system. However, we do communicate with clients within there. So I guess it's kind of both for us. And then our actual, like, CRM, what we use our email marketing, or ESP for email service provider. That's what we use that for. Anyways. So our next one, we have 2 left, is workflows. And this can be a biggie too. I feel like each of these might be their own episode altogether. So there's different, we had workflow singular, but obviously workflows, like there's many workflows that exist in your business already. So this is like, how do you streamline and create a system for each one of those things? So yours might look a little different and we're only talking about really, I guess, service-based businesses here. So product-based businesses, you'll still have systems, you'll still have workflows, but they're going to look a little different. So for me, it's the workflow of what, you know, a lead to a customer. There's a whole, like, series of things that happens between there. And, like, if they don't go on Zoom or they do go on Zoom, it's like the if kind of statements, right? Or new customer to project completion, or customer offboarding, like those kind of things. So those are all different workflows within my business anyways. So I will pass this one over to you. We shall see if this baby is quiet. I will let you over to you for workflows.
Okay. Yeah. So workflows are a whole beast, and workflows can be different things. Like a workflow can mean a different thing to different people. So for me, the workflows that I focus on are like my client workflows. So for the when a lead comes in, what happens? Okay, they're going to fill out that form. That's a step in my workflow. That first email that goes out, that is automated in there. That's a step in my workflow. But it's basically a complete list of your client experience. So what I do when I set up workflows for my clients, I tell them, okay, grab a pen and a piece of paper and sit down and write out like what happens when a client contacts you. What do you do? Write it down. Okay, write out all those steps. Now, what is just something that you need to know that's like a to-do for you to do, or what's something that needs to be automated, or what needs to be an email, like what needs to be sent at this point in time? Oh yeah, this is where I need to send my welcome guide, or oh, this is when I need to send my pricing. Oh, this is when I need to send my reminder for my session. So that all gets included in your workflow, and it just helps you have a clear place to A, be able to see it all, and then B, if you have it set up in your CRM system, the way I do in 17 Hats, it's just a matter of, okay, I've got to do this today. You click a button. Okay, that's checked off my list. What's next? It pops up. Oh yeah, okay, tomorrow I have to remember to send that email. So that's where I have my email templates in there where I open it. Okay, do I need to tweak this at all? Add something personal? Yep, perfect. Away we go. There, it's sent. It's not a matter of, oh, I got to go in and sit down and create this, or oh, what is the next step? Oh, I got that client coming up on Saturday. What have I done? What haven't I done? It just takes the guesswork out of it, and it just streamlines everything, the whole process.
It streamlines your business, makes it more efficient, but also like what's up here, like your mental, your own mental state, like it's peace of mind, just knowing like, okay, this is the system and how it works. And you don't have to like stress or worry about forgetting things in between. And when you do go to hire a virtual assistant, like someone like you, that's going to hop in and help with their business, it's not like you're setting them up for success. You're not setting them up for failure because your workload. Because I've seen that too. I've seen people hire a virtual assistant and they're like, oh, it didn't work for me. Or they didn't go do a good job. And I'm like, oh, what'd you hire them to do? And they don't really have anything specific to tell me. I'm like, so you kind of just left them floundering? Like, of course they failed. You didn't give them any action, right? So the workflows will make sure that doesn't happen. So that's really awesome. And we have this system that's in our 5th point is like probably the one system that saves me, I would say, the most amount of time in my entire business, all the systems that we use. So this is a client bookings, and this can be for leads, someone who's new, wants to talk to you. This can be client onboarding sessions. This can be, I don't even know, team meetings, like whatever, but it's how people book you and how to make it easy for yourself and for whoever's booking. Calendly. I think lots of people use Calendly. If you don't, go get Calendly and make it easier. I'll let you talk about client bookings.
Yeah. So I used to use Calendly as well. There's another one, Acuity. I don't know if that's how you say it. I think that might have been the one I used before. But 17 Hats integrated a client booking system, and it has been a game changer. So I use it for my for photography. I use it mainly for my sessions, obviously, which I mean, it kind of just depends on where I'm at in my business. Sometimes I'll have like a booking link where it's like, okay, I can look at my month and know these are my free evenings. Well, when I get an inquiry, I can send those to people. A lot of the times I'll use them for my like mini sessions, because those are a little easier to streamline and I know exactly what spaces are available and whatever. But it just makes it easy. It takes the guesswork out of, oh, when am I available? And it just streamlines the process of people booking. So instead of someone emailing you and being, oh, hey, yeah, I want to book with you. Okay, when are you available? Okay, well, let me look at my calendar real quick and this and this and this. Oh, hold on a second, honey. Oh yeah.
What is Mom Biz without?
No.
you know.
Right? She did pretty good. She did pretty good.
I saw her pop into the background. I'm like, oh, she's okay. We got the iPad. We're good for 5 more minutes.
She's getting closer. She's getting closer. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
So just taking that guesswork out of, hey, when are you available for a session? Like, I know when clients used to message me for photography, they'd message me. I'd be like, okay, well, I look at my calendar. Okay, well, I only want to shoot these 2 days. So I send them those 2 days, and those don't work for me. Okay, now I got to go back to the drawing board, look back at my calendar, send it again. And then it's like this whole back and forth. And so then all of a sudden you've sent 5 messages, 5 emails, whatever. And you're like, oh, I should have just put all my availability in one calendar, sent them the link, and then it's up to them. And it's like, well, if this doesn't work, well, then I guess we're moving on to the next month, you know? And that has been super helpful for both my VA business and my photography business, because it just takes that back and forth communication out of it. Cause it's like, well, here's my schedule. If it doesn't work for you, like, you know, I'm pretty flexible. So if someone messages me like, oh, I really need a Saturday and you don't have any Saturdays on your calendar. Okay, let me go in and look and see if there's somewhere that I can pull a space out. But that's not a yes, I'm going to rearrange my entire calendar. It's like, okay, let me see if I can find something that works for you. And the second piece to that is with 17 hats, I can actually generate a workflow based on what they choose. So I can generate a workflow, again, a series of emails or whatever that might look like, that, you know, if somebody books one of my free coffee and conversations, they get an automatic email after they book one of those that has the Zoom booking link in there. So it's not me having to be like, oh shoot, someone booked one of my coffee and conversations, I got to sit down and write them an email. No, it automatically sends it out. It's just taking the guesswork out of that. And then it automatically sends them a reminder the day of. You know, the same thing with any other type of session that they try to book, or you know, my kickoff call, same thing. They get an automated email right away, because again, all they need is the thank you for booking and here's your Zoom link details, and then you send that again the day of, or you know, the day before, however your system works.
Yeah, it's been a big game changer for me too, having that. I wish I did it a long time ago.
Yeah.
It would have, and I still do get people that are like, oh, but I really want this day, or they'll ask a question, are you available? Like they'll ask for a call, I'll send them the calendar, and then they say, oh, are you available tomorrow at noon? And then I'm like, let me check. Like, did you check? No, I'm not. My calendar has these days. So anyways, but it really just kind of streamlines. They go there, they go, and you can set your availability in the back end of these systems. I'm sure it's the same for the system you're using. In Calendly, I log in. Sometimes it's around my husband back there. His work shifts to the fire hall. I just block off when he's going to be working. I don't take calls those days, because guess what? I got 4 kids running around those days. It's not possible. Or you could have certain days a week. So right now I have Tuesdays and Thursdays. That's it. For the whole year, I opened up Tuesdays and Thursdays for calls. And then if he's on shift, we'll get rid of it. And that's set up like a really good boundary as well. Clients get used to, even when they're in that initial stage of, I'm a lead, I'm not working with Brittany and her team yet, they know, oh, this is how she accepts calls. So it's just slowly getting rid of like the random phone calls or random text messages or what have you, because they know, oh, I have to go book a time in her calendar and do it here. And it's not meant to like create a barrier, right? Like when I first did it, I had this impression like, oh, people aren't going to like this because I'm not just like responding to an email saying like, oh, sure, yeah, let me check and book it manually. It actually does make it easier for them. And a lot of people are using these systems as well. So it's automatically going to show them only times that they're available too. So if I book, you know, let's say you used Calendly as well, and I booked something in yours, it would take that appointment out of mine. So nobody can book at the same time. So it kind of like takes that guesswork out. So that's really awesome. Amazing. I'm glad we got to touch on all 5 points before one of them at our house. Wacky. I don't know. It's a matter of time. So in wrapping up, I wanted to just give like an awesome shout out to you and your business. I know you're working hard. You're already fully booked. I think right now with clients, which is like, that happened. That's awesome.
I don't know.
So quickly. Well, I mean, you have lots of people cheering you on. But for anyone who wants to work with Alysha, she offers VIP days, and I'll let you talk about your VIP days and what those are.
So the VIP days is something new that I'm offering. I've done a couple now, and I think this is going to be the way that I move my business moving forward, because you can get, so what it is basically say you want me to set up your 17 hat system, or, whatever it is that you want me to do for you. Instead of being like, okay, yeah, let's get you on a monthly retainer, and, I can give you 2 hours a week for the next month or whatever. And you get it spread out over the month. Instead of doing that, what I'm doing is what I call like your VA for a day, VIP day. And so essentially what they'll do is they book in with me. We get a kickoff call going where we hop on Zoom. We go over everything that we're going to get done, what systems they have, what needs to be fixed, what needs to be implemented, what's working, what's not, et cetera, et cetera. And then we go into our VIP day, which is essentially like a 6-hour work day that I am dedicated to one client. So they get me for all day, and we work on their stuff. So they're getting my undivided attention, and they're getting things done quickly. So instead of having the hours spread out all over the place, say you want to schedule, social media is your wheelhouse. I do a little bit, but it's not I don't feel like it's on the same level as yours. But we say my client wants to schedule out their social media for the entire month or whatever. Okay, well, let's figure out exactly what we want that to look like. Then let's hit the VIP day hard and get it all done. So we sit down, we get this done. I think we could probably do more than just social media in one day, more than 1 month of social media in one day. But again, that's just the whole idea of it. And we just hit the ground running, and we just have a whole day dedicated to you, and we get all your stuff done, and it's done within, we get it done within a 6-hour period. If you need more time, then that's something we probably finish up another day or whatever. But yeah, I'm excited about them because it gives me more time to dedicate to people instead of, okay, I only have 2 hours to work on this today, and then I got to move on to another client stuff. It's like, that kind of jumping around all over the place. Plus I can pick and choose the days that I offer the VIP days throughout the month where I know I don't have kids at home. And essentially, instead of working a little bit every single day, I can schedule, 4 VIP days a month. And those are scheduled sporadically, even if it was just say 1 a week, instead of just having hours all over the place and feeling like I have to, work in the evenings to get things done and finished. So I'm really looking forward to these, and I'm getting really great feedback from the people that are either like the ones that have booked them already, and then the people that I've talked to about them, they're really excited. Like, I need to do a VIP day.
Yeah.
So,
well, because I think they cut, especially with that kickoff call, they're probably really excited. They list all these things, and they know, okay, this is what I want to accomplish. And at the end of this one day, those things are going to be done.
Yeah.
Whereas you can still accomplish those over the month. I know you do.
Oh yeah.
But I think from my perspective, if I was to hire someone to do this VIP day, I would come prepared. Okay, you know what? Today I want to overhaul my process for, I don't know, creating websites and launching them.
Yes.
That's going to be my goal for that day or whatever.
Yep.
And I know at the end of it, I'm going to feel amazing because that new system is going to be in place, set up, done. I can move on to the next project rather than having it kind of take up space in my head and letting it fall off the priority list and what have you. So
totally.
That's really awesome. So anyone who wants to follow Alysha, they can find her on Instagram. What's your Instagram?
Yes. It's at your VA4, the number 4 a day.
Amazing. And you follow me already. I'm at Empty Desk Solutions. We shall see you all next time.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Mom Biz Cafe. See you next time. And don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Until next time.